So speaking of bad friends, how the hell are you?
Good one. Yeah, I'm good. I already told you
I know.
that.
Well, we had to test the mics.
And yeah, since we are talking about bad friends today, how are you?
I'm doing just great.
Just great.
Just
It's
great.
because you got new sunglasses.
Yeah, that's why.
Chanel.
I was taking pictures and I was like, wow, I look like
Oh
I'm
my.
Kourtney Kardashian.
You're taking selfies?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Although my ears are hurting now because I think that my head is too big for
You're like,
these
my whole head
glasses.
is hurting. It's like squeezing your face. Worth it.
Okay. So we're gonna be chewing gum, so that might sound
Oh yeah,
annoying
we are.
on the mics.
We got stanky breath.
Just heads up.
Got that stank. Have you ever talked to someone who has like a dead tooth? Wait,
What the fuck?
I think we both have.
We both have
Yeah.
spoken to this person who like
Yeah.
admitted that they have a dead
That's
tooth.
why he was the best. Like he was like open about it.
Like I honestly didn't even know he had a dead tooth because I don't
Me
think I got
neither.
that close to him to even like smell it. But also,
Yeah.
you know what? His dead tooth might have not been so bad because
Mm.
I was in yoga the other day and I was kind of closer to like this one guy and like people breathe out a lot in a yoga class.
Mm-hmm.
So this
Breathing
guy
all
was
over each other.
breathing, and I was like, "Oh my god, he smells like he has a dead tooth in there.
Ugh.
Like, I can't stand this."
He smells like he's has death inside
Yeah,
of him.
yeah. So,
Gross.
but yeah.
All like in yoga trying
Why
to
did you bring up
relax.
dead tooth? Oh, because of the gum
Because
thing.
of the gum and shit. But like, yeah, since I didn't know what a dead tooth was either until that guy told us about his dead tooth.
I never thought of dead tooth, and then It's Always Sunny mentioned the dead teeth.
Yeah,
Tooth.
and it's come up.
Dead tooth.
But there was a guy that I worked with at Trader Joe's. He was actually like one of the managers, and his breath always smelled like even with the mask on, bro.
Ew, that's so
So I was like,
gross.
this guy's got a couple dead teeth in there. Like,
Nasty.
damn, bro.
Yeah.
I was all diagnosing him.
Yeah. No, you can just. I think ever since we were told like dead teeth are a thing,
we're just like on the
we're
lookout.
just like they have a dead tooth. I'm pretty sure.
Sometimes I think I even have them too.
Oh shit!
But
When's the last time you went to the dentist?
No, I don't. I don't even have a cavity, dude. But like, you know, sometimes your breath smells and you're like, oh shit.
Yeah. Or sometimes you get a whiff and you're like, is that me?
Yeah.
That happens to me a lot too.
Paranoid about stinky breath.
I'm very paranoid about stinky breath.
Mm-hmm.
So I have like a whole thing of gum in my car.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, silver is the ugliest color. Silver and beige are the ugliest colors to have on cars.
What's wrong with silver? I like silver.
Nah.
I think it looks like classy.
No, I think it looks cheap.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I always liked it because I feel like it can't get too dirty. Like, you can't tell.
I guess so. But
I like black.
Cheap. Yeah, I like black too.
I like white too, though, because I feel safe in a white car because, like, people can see you.
White on a car looks like, it looks like you have blonde hair and, like, you're this white girl in a white car.
So, a white car is, like, equivalent to being blonde?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I imagine. That's who I imagine is driving.
Well, I have a white car, so.
Yeah, maybe you should dye your hair blonde.
I'll be surprised.
Have you ever thought about that?
I haven't thought about dyeing it blonde, but I do want to dye it because I'd be getting some gray hairs.
Yeah.
We're going there. What is he doing? He like lives here. Okay, anyway, we'll just do that for a bit.
This is why we shouldn't be all the way back here. All the weird shit happens.
Yeah, we should have stayed where we usually are. So,
tried something.
We're recording in the car, and we're in a parking lot. And we're in like in the corner spot, so yeah, there's like some weirdos about.
I was gonna ask you because I actually don't really like when people put their feet up on the dashboard. I was gonna ask you, do you mind?
That was very nice of you to ask.
Because I always do this and I leave footprints.
I personally don't care.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Because I like to do that too, and then people don't like it, and I'm like, why not?
Like it's weird that like I actually don't like it and I do it without
Yeah,
knowing sometimes.
that's contradicting.
Yeah. I guess that makes me a bad friend, but this makes me a good friend that I'm
That
asking
you
you for
asked, yeah.
permission now.
If it was you, like,
What are some things that you've done as a bad friend, like looking back,
oh
reflecting?
gosh. Here we go. Okay. So I think like when I'm a bad friend, it's when I'm like in a relationship and I just stop hanging out with my friends.
Oh yeah, you do that to me.
That's like pretty shitty cuz like I'll be like too busy and like I'm not. I just don't make time for my friends.
Yeah, because you're all in love and like you're
Yeah.
just like I don't need to make time for friends. Who
And
needs friends when you have love?
exactly. But like this actually happened like almost 2 years ago. And I'll just say names cuz it's fine. But I was supposed to hang out with Jessica and Nikki. Like we made plans. We were gonna have like a girls' night. I don't know what we were gonna do.
Mhm.
And like last minute, I was like, "Hey, I can't go anymore." I don't know why. Like I guess it wasn't even like a good reason. And I thought it was not a big deal, right?
Right.
But like Jessica was like, like this really isn't cool because like we were really looking forward to it, and you don't really seem to care like about our friendship right now. So I just wanted to let you know like I'm not okay with this.
Damn.
And like it was like really really harsh, and like she even said she's like, yeah, like Nikki wouldn't say this to you cuz she's like way too nice, but I'm going to tell you like she's upset too. Like we're genuinely upset because we just feel like you don't care about like our friendship and stuff. And like in that moment, I felt like the shittiest friend ever, right?
Yeah.
Obviously. And I was like reconsidering like all my decisions in my whole life. I was like, am I a bad friend? And then like I was telling my partner like everything that happened. She's like, yeah, like why don't you just, like make time for them or whatever? And I was like, I don't know, like I just didn't think it like was a big deal.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, that's where I went wrong, just thinking like it's fine, or
Yeah. Just assuming.
just assuming and not putting in the effort,
Or being
basically.
even like considerate or mindful of those people's time.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, I mean, yeah, that's one of the reasons why, like, one of my old friends, I'm just like, I'm done. Because, like, this is
Because the consideration of time.
being inconsiderate of people's time is, I think, a really important thing
In a friendship.
in a friendship. And I think a lot of people take it for granted.
Yeah, for sure. Ever since that happened, I'm like a little more mindful. Like if I'm gonna make plans, I'm gonna be like, okay, like I made the plan, like I know I can do it,
Yeah.
like, and then I'll even be like, do I even want to do this?
Yeah.
Like I'm not gonna just be
Like,
making.
don't just say yes and then, like, last minute bail, because that's probably the worst way you can go about doing something. It's like,
Yeah.
just because you said yes doesn't mean, like, it makes you a good person, because you fucking ended up bailing anyway. So,
Yeah.
just be honest and say, no, I don't feel like doing that.
Yeah, because like your words don't mean anything until they're followed up
With
by
actions,
your
right?
actions. Yeah. So I think like that makes you like a bad friend or a good friend for sure. Like if you're just there and like you come through like you say you are, like I think
Yeah.
you're a good friend.
Yeah. For me, I think there's like probably, at least in like my friendship of this person with this person that I've known my whole life, um I would say that like a lot of jealousy came into play on both ends. And I kind of hate the fact that that was even a thing, um because our whole lives we've been competing against each other.
Shit.
And I wouldn't say it was like on our end. I'd say a lot of that competition stemmed from like her mom, or like just like
Yeah.
the parent part of it.
Her parents' expectations of
Yeah,
her.
you knew her mom, like she was like
Yeah.
impossible to please. So like
Yeah.
she always wanted to please her mom, and I think her mom always like compared us to be like, for her to be better than me, or like that I'm better than her, and so I think that was always a
Damn.
thing. Like
Her mom kind of like put it out there, put it in her head, and then because you guys are already naturally going to be like competitive towards each other.
Yeah, I guess so.
I think so.
But yeah, I think like the jealousy and the competition part of the friendship was like, at least on my end, I can be accountable for that because
Yeah.
it it probably fucked us up. Like both of our actions fucked up this friendship.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, it's good that you like know that and you're not just like blaming one person.
yeah, well, that's another
One
thing.
side.
Like I would say about like friendships, um, especially, and I could use it in like this context with this person too, because it was always the case where she would come to me and tell me all the fucked up things everyone else did to her or everyone else did. And after some point I started to see the pattern in that and realize that like, wow, like she's not a perfect person, so why isn't she being accountable for shit that she's doing too?
Like showing no accountability for anything.
And I think that's a problem with a lot of friendships, is that people want to take no accountability but feel like the victim amongst other people when they share like the story of what happened, you know?
Why do you think people do that?
I think there's probably a lot of selfishness, or like that person's probably self-absorbed in some way. There's probably a lot of other factors to that.
For sure.
But I think that person's only thinking about themselves and what makes them feel good. So let's say, for example, this person's like telling me a story and they're putting all the blame on the other people that did them wrong.
Right.
They want me to validate them.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Instead, and say, no, you're right. They're crazy. Why did, I don't know why they did that to you. And I think that makes the person feel good and it makes them feel validated. Instead of having to take accountability or ownership for like maybe the faults that they did.
Yeah.
And I think it's just an easy way to escape from like reality in a way of like, yeah, maybe you're an asshole too.
Yeah. I mean, I do think that that's what friendship is for, to validate each other.
Yeah.
But there is a point where you have to show a little bit of accountability for yourself, especially if you're like getting in a lot of like arguments or situations with people.
Yeah.
And it's, or like, yeah, all your other relationships are going wrong and you're kind of like blaming everybody else.
Right.
There comes a point where you can't validate anymore. You got to be honest with your friends too. Like, you be like, yeah, that sucks, but like if you're a good friend, you got to be like, hey, you know what, like maybe you're like the problem, like or like just I think you got to be honest with your friends, like it sucks, but if you're a good friend, you have to be.
Yeah, I think in like unfortunately in like this friendship, like I started to notice there was like a lot of lying. And even when it was like called out to them about the lying, they would deny the lie. And I think at that point, when a person is denying that they're lying, I think that's when you have to like really raise that red flag and be like, okay, there's actually no point in confronting this person anymore, because they're so like lost in their web of lies that they've convinced themselves.
Yeah. They're believing their own lies.
Yeah, exactly.
How are you going to talk to someone like that? How can you trust somebody like that?
Yes, exactly. And so at that point, I was just like, you know what? Like, there's just like too many things going on here.
Yeah, that's a lot.
I think another red flag is when your friend comes to you and tells you that someone's talking shit about you. And they're actually friends with that person that's talking shit about you.
Yeah, they're still friends with them for some reason.
And
huge red flag.
And that actually happened to me. So like at first I was like, oh, what a bitch. I can't believe that person's talking shit about me. I don't even talk to this person. And then I started to think about it and be like, okay, my friend that's telling me this is friends with that person. and that person is, you know, feeling the ability to talk shit about me, that means my friend is actually making it okay for this person
Mm-hmm.
to feel the need to talk shit about me, and that means my friend is probably actually talking shit about me
Yeah.
with her,
Yeah,
you
that could
know?
be true. Or like just the straight fact that they're talking to the person that they know is talking shit about you.
Yeah.
That's not cool by
Right?
association because obviously you are who you hang out with, or essentially like the main five people, I think. So if your friend's hanging out with that friend considers them a good friend, then
Right?
like what's that to say about them? Like that doesn't say anything good. Like that's like like if I go to you and I'm like talking shit about blah blah,
Yeah.
and I'm like, yeah, but I'm hanging out with them
Yeah.
tonight.
Yeah, it's weird,
Like,
right? It's
like
awkward.
that's just stupid. Like you're not gonna do that.
Yeah, exactly. What about, have you ever had a friend that has let you waste your time and make you feel bad for doing things for yourself?
Um. Hmm.
Or have you ever experienced?
Yeah. Like I mean, I experienced it in a relationship.
Okay.
I can't think of a friendship.
Well, relationships are friendships too.
Yeah. I remember in one of my relationships I was like telling her I was starting to see a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, why would you do that? Like totally not supportive. She's like, there's nothing wrong with you. Like why like she was like super weird about it. Like, what are you
Yeah.
talking about? Are you talking about me?
Oh shit.
And I'm just like, oh, like it honestly made me feel bad for doing it. Like I felt like I shouldn't have done it, and like I know that's totally not right, but obviously like there's issues in the relationship.
Yeah.
And I wasn't even talking about her. Like I was just genuinely like felt blah about my life. So I was
Right.
like, I want to talk to a therapist. And yeah, she wasn't supportive, so that was a clear sign that like, hey, maybe this isn't gonna work because you shouldn't be concerned about like me wanting to see a therapist. Like
Yeah.
you should be like cool with it or very supportive. So yeah, but like I don't know, I feel like I've been really lucky. Like I've had most like I feel like I've had really good friendships.
Okay.
Like, when I came out and told everybody like, hey, like I'm talking to a girl,
Yeah.
like everyone was like super cool and supportive about it. Like nobody was like, oh, like can't be friends anymore.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's not the 1950s.
Not I mean like but that
Oh yeah.
no one saw me differently.
Yeah.
So I was like, cool, like I have really good solid friends.
Yeah. True.
But as far as like relationships, like there's definitely been things that I tried to do, like see a therapist or like even going to a CrossFit gym or whatever, and they're just like, "Why are you doing that?"
Yeah.
So like that's not cool.
Yeah, and I think when you have friends that make you feel bad for doing good things for yourself, I think that's also a time where you should like reflect
For sure.
on who you're hanging out with. Um, because sometimes there's people out there that they feel like so much shit that they want to bring everyone else down with them.
Absolutely.
And they don't want to see anyone else escape from that.
Yep.
Because they feel like threatened in a way, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
it just makes them have to think about what they're doing with their lives,
Yeah, totally.
you know?
Has that happened to you?
Like, I'm back.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, that's definitely a sign though, like that you should look for if you are thinking like, is this friend bad or not? Like,
Yeah.
if they're not supportive of you and you're doing things that are bettering your life, then it's not a good friend.
Yeah. Or what about friendships where you realize your friendship isn't a mutual friendship?
What do you mean?
So there's some people that experience, and I can even say I've experienced this a little bit, where the friendship is very one-sided. Like at some point with that person that I was talking about, like it felt like this person could come to me all the time and talk to
Oh,
me, and I would give them advice or just be an
yes.
open ear for them.
Yeah.
But when it came down to me like wanting to say things, like that person either was unavailable or like they just kind of didn't care, or
Yeah, for sure.
they made it about them.
Very one-sided.
And after some time I also even felt that like I just didn't feel good confiding in this person anyway. I felt like everything that I was saying was used to, I don't know, either validate her or like make her feel better about herself when I'm like in a shitty situation.
She'd be like, "Oh man, that happened to you." Well, like that's not happening with me.
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
like,
exactly.
Just make yourself feel better.
Yeah.
Oh man, that sucks. That freaking sucks.
So it felt like very one-sided, and
yeah.
you know, to look back on things about being like just a pretty good friend. I can't say I was like the greatest friend. I know there's like little stupid things that I've done in my teens that probably weren't good as a friend. But I think as an adult, I can own up to all that shit and be accountable.
Yeah.
And I think just the lack of communication was just what made me feel like this friendship was so one-sided. And I can probably be accountable for that too. Maybe like I could have communicated better, but at some point, because of the lying and everything, I just felt like there was no point in communicating like the truth to this person.
Yeah. I've been in a situation like that actually, where I'd hang out with this person and all they wanted to talk about was like their issues, their dramas.
Yeah.
And I don't really like to talk about that.
Yeah, right.
All the time. Like if we're hanging out like and we're friends, like let's have fun, you know?
Yeah.
So that's already a red flag to me if you like talking about like depressing shit all the time.
Like drama and other people.
Not even like shit. We could talk about trauma, but yeah, drama. Yeah, but drama and like shit talking other people, and that's like all you have to talk about. I'm like, okay, like what kind of friend are you? Like, you know, what kind of person are you? First of all.
Yeah, that's true.
And honestly for me, I feel like I don't have like every once in a while I have like emotional things going on and I'll have to vent.
Yeah.
But not very often, but like I know with like my two friends who were kind of like you and your friend, like they had that competitiveness towards each other. It was very one-sided. Like this one person would always be like venting and complaining, and then when the other girl was like, okay, like I have shit going on and I'm trying to like talk to you about it, the other person would be like, oh, like can we talk later?
Yeah.
Like I'm so tired, like I'm not feeling well, like we'll talk about it later. Like always brushing it off. And I felt so bad for my friend who like she talked to me about it and stuff, but it's like she's spending so much time and energy listening to the other person. You would think that they would have time to freaking like listen too.
Yeah.
Usually these people don't.
Yeah. And I think like there's a lot of, I mean, a friendship is like a relationship. So I think now as an adult, I'm very careful about who I let into my life and who I don't. And the thing that like kind of fucked up that friendship in so many ways was that when you have a long-term friend, you let a lot of things slide. You know, like your friendship started off very innocent. I guess what I'm saying is just innocent, so you're not trying to weigh out pros and cons of having this person as a friend. So when you have a long-term friend, I think you let a lot of shit just slide.
Yeah.
Because you're like, well, that's my longest friend, my oldest friend, and you know, you have a little bit more.
You have like some lenience for some reason. You're like, we've known each other for so long. Like it's like they're basically family.
Yeah.
And like you would forgive your like I feel like you're quicker to forgive your family than your friends. So once it gets to the point where you're like, oh, you're basically my family, but It's like they're not.
They're not. And that also goes, you know, like even with family, your family will do you wrong too.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I don't think
There
that
should
like
definitely be boundaries there too.
there should be, just because you're family, just because you're a long-term friend, doesn't mean you get away with like shit, or like, you know, doesn't mean you're able to cross boundaries.
That's something that definitely needs to be remembered, because yeah, that can be like an easy excuse, like, oh, we've known each other for so long, like it's fine or whatever.
Yeah. I've also come across people that are people pleasers, and not really necessarily in my experience, but I do like to be friends with really nice people now that I'm older. And I notice that those people will get taken advantage of because they're a people pleaser.
Yeah. Well, they want validation from people.
Yeah.
And the way that they want to do it, or they know how to do it, is by being like, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, right.
And that really sucks for them because they don't have boundaries.
Right. And I think that the world is so mean sometimes. I think people are so mean and so self-absorbed that they don't take notice into taking advantage of these people that are actually being really nice to them. And I've seen it firsthand, and actually multiple people that are people pleasers and they're my friends. I've seen them get treated like shit, and the people that they're trying to please don't give a shit if they're in their lives or not.
Yeah.
And it like hurts me. So when those people are trying to like be really nice to me or do these like crazy nice things for me, I set a boundary. I'm like, don't be doing that shit. Like, I can pay for my own things. I can do these things like for myself. Like, I know you want to help me, but you need to just like worry about yourself.
Yeah, that's good, because like there's, like you said, there's people that are gonna take advantage. And like I think another word for people pleasers is like codependent people.
Right. Okay.
That's something I learned at where I work, because a lot of them like go to meetings and all that, so they learned about being codependent.
Yeah.
And it's a real thing. Like, people look for other people to like do things for them and just be there with them all the time.
Yeah.
And then the people who attract codependent people, or they attract each other, are enablers.
Right. Yeah.
Which is like, and I feel like I could be like this with some of my friends. For example, Noreen. Noreen will do anything for me. Like, she used to do my chores.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and like when we were little. So, for example, like I'm enabling her because she just like wants to like make me happy.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a big deal for her, you know? I think we all have a little bit of codependency and enabling.
I mean, we do. I think obviously people are very social people, so we naturally want to get along with people.
Yeah.
And naturally or biologically, even when we were like, you know, thousands of years ago, like we were working in tribes to survive. And so that kind of is still like in our biology of how we need to survive. And so a lot of us
for sure
want to get along with people because it's like a natural instinct sometimes, you know?
Yeah. All the time, I think.
But I think setting boundaries for yourself is important, because you're just going to keep getting hurt. You'll find that a lot of people actually won't treat you the same way you would treat them. And this goes just directly to people that are people pleasers. Like, you're going to be disappointed a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Because they have expectations. Like, I don't think anyone should have expectation of someone, really.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I guess like a little bit. Like, yeah, you expect me to meet you here.
Yeah.
Things like that. But like, oh, like, I expect you to act this way and be super nice to me all the time. Like, you can't expect someone to do that. You can't control other people.
Right. And like, everyone has their own shit that they're dealing with, so you can't expect that. But if you recognize like I guess like the the mindfulness or the consideration that people are giving you, I think that's sometimes enough to be like, okay, that's a okay person, or that's a okay friend to have. Because yeah, like, you meet me here, and I was just thinking about this yesterday. Like, there's a lot of people that would be really flaky, and you're not so flaky. You have canceled on several things, or twice, but like, you had valid reasons, and I think, like, I just appreciate that about you as a friend, and I know we don't compliment each other enough. But I think those are like things to look for in friends, like people that are gonna like be respectful of your time, or like people that want to be there for you.
Yeah. We could talk about our friendship. We have a pretty good friendship now, I think. Like,
I think our friendship has grown a lot.
Yeah.
And it's not perfect, but I think we're still growing, and we're still learning.
I wish we could hang out more.
Yeah, I know.
We just like live so far,
and our schedules
are different.
So different.
But like, it's cool that we make this one day a week to hang out and talk, and like, I don't do that with anybody else.
Yeah.
So I think that's cool, and that makes like a pretty good friendship.
Yeah, I think it makes a solid friendship. I know there's been like gaps in our friendship where sometimes we just like separate, and like you get your girlfriend and like just forget about me, but
okay, that's definitely happened. Yeah.
Or like, I'm just like, I know there was some point where I was just like partying a lot too, so I wasn't really caring whether we were hanging out or not either.
Yeah.
Or making time even to reach out.
Yeah.
But I think like we always like find a way to like come back to each other, and I think
yeah, for sure. 'Cause like, our friendship hasn't been perfect. Like, of course, there's been times where like we're not hanging out because we're like doing our own thing.
Yeah.
Which I think is important in a friendship. Like, you can't always be together. You can't always like you're not always on the same page. Like, sometimes you need to be with other friends and learn things from other people.
Yeah.
Or sometimes you just need to go on by yourself. So like, when there was a period when you and I weren't talking, like, I wasn't thinking like, oh, we're never gonna be friends again, but I was like not sure when.
Yeah.
But I just felt like, oh, like, we're kind of just doing our own thing right now.
Yeah.
And I think that's important for each of us to grow, because we were like young and dumb when we first started hanging out.
Yeah.
And that was like the funnest time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we needed to grow separately, because like, we could be pretty crazy together.
Yeah, it was a little dangerous in some ways, but I think yeah, like, we come back and we're kind of better friends once we have that time apart or space.
Yeah. And we're both those type of people too that like need space every once in a while.
So
like
true.
Like, I know you're like that. Like, sometimes you go through periods like where you're like, I just need to be alone.
Yeah.
And then like,
talk to me right now.
Yeah, like, you just go into hibernation mode, and I know that about you by now. And for me, like, I just go through periods where I'm not really like in hibernation mode, but I'm just like doing my own thing.
Yeah. I think you just like to also just like explore a lot. And I think that's good, because when you come back, like, we've learned how to just be better people. I keep saying that, but I think it's true. I think our friendship is still going to keep growing, whether you go to the army forever or not.
Forever.
Or wherever you move. But I think we'll still be like friends, and figure out how to spend time with each other.
Yeah, hopefully we could live closer someday.
Yeah.
But this is good. We're in the same state.
I think so. And I think it's healthy. And I know there's
healthy
things that I've done that have pissed you off. Whether it's like stupid shit or not. And there's things that you've done or said that have pissed me off too.
Lucky for you, I don't have the greatest memory, so I can't even think of anything right now.
I know, but it's just funny because I remember you being like mad at me for stupid shit that I would just annoy you with.
Really?
Yeah. There was a period of time where we didn't because I raised the volume on like this speaker, like super loud. I played like metal music.
What speaker?
It was like a stereo or something.
Uh-huh.
And you were sleeping.
Oh my god.
And you were like hungover, and I did that,
shit.
and you were so pissed at me. It was really funny.
I don't even
and I kept
remember
laughing, which actually made things worse because I think you just got more mad.
Did I leave your house?
You left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't even.
That's funny. I just left.
We weren't even. I'm pretty sure we weren't even at my house. We were at someone else's house.
Oh shit.
And you just left, and we didn't talk to each other for like 2 months.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember that. But like now that you bring it up, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I used to like to push my buttons.
Yeah, I did, and I thought it was funny.
Oh my gosh.
And then these are the 2 times that I do remember you being mad at me. And I don't remember if this second time you stopped talking to me for a while, but you you were pissed off. There was a time when I didn't want to drive you up the hill to the train station, even though my house was down the street.
Oh shit. That's pretty messed up, dude.
Because I think I was like annoyed of the way you said it. You're like, just drive me to the train. And I was like, what the fuck? Don't talk to me like that. And you were being a brat. And so I was like, no, I'm not fucking taking you to the train. I was like, go walk. And like, you're pissed off.
And I walked.
And I think you walked.
Yeah, I could be a brat sometimes.
Yeah, and I could be a brat too. I know that.
Yeah, so we're both bratty, and like when we're both bratty, it's not a good time.
Yeah, especially like when we lack sleep.
Yeah, because we're like hungover.
Yeah,
but we're in a good mood. We're having fun. Yeah. I can't remember like you getting mad at me, but I'm sure it's happened.
Yeah, I've probably gone mad at you in reaction to like things that you've said or done, and it's probably just like pissed me off. I mean, I guess that's how anyone would get mad.
Yeah.
But
I know you would always get mad sometimes about like my tone or like things like that.
Yeah, the way you talk is sometimes like
it irks you.
It just irks me. I'm like, you need to lower your fucking voice right now.
Yeah, those are the things I could remember you getting mad at me about, but other than that.
Okay. Because I wrote down notes here.
Cool.
So I just want to like keep going back into bad friends. Because I also think it's like a topic that a lot of people just can relate to. There was a lot of people that when I put this poll out that actually voted, it was probably like over 30 people that voted for bad friends as a topic.
It's a lot of people.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people can relate to it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I thought a lot of people just have experienced. Were you gonna laugh at my lisp?
No.
Oh.
Weirdo.
I was like, I'm self-conscious of the lisp.
I don't even. What, my lisp?
Are you laughing at my lisp?
What's wrong with my lisp?
Damn it! I don't know what I'm saying.
You got all self-conscious. I'm over here like, huh?
You're like a little old man or like a little grandma. You're just like, uh-huh. Yeah. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Uh-huh.
Anyway, so I was saying a lot of people voted for that topic,
right.
And I think it's because a lot of people just couldn't relate to having a bad fucking friend.
Yeah, we've all been there.
But I think it's important to point out that it's okay to lose friends.
Yeah.
It's okay to like have a smaller circle, you know? Now that you're an adult, I feel like not enough people like praise that having a small circle is sometimes better than having a large circle of friends in your life.
Yeah. Because as we get older, we have less friends for some reason. Maybe because we're getting smarter and we're tired of people's bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. I think over time you start to set boundaries for yourself, and if you don't, you should. And it's okay to lose friends. It's okay to just like have a handful of friends, but at least they're good friends to you now.
Yeah, because you'll have like at least 2 friends or whatever, but those are gonna be some like good ass friends, and that's really all you need instead of having like 10 like
Shitty
okay,
ass friends.
yeah, friends you can't even talk to or whatever.
Yeah, or friends you can't rely on.
Yeah,
And I want to point out that having a flaky friend is really more common than everybody thinks.
yeah, I agree. What the
Um,
heck?
uh, Cause like there was a point in time where I felt like, damn, like I just have really shitty friends. Like all of them are
Wow,
flaky ass people,
damn.
including you. No, I'm just kidding.
Number one.
No, I just keep or kept coming across people like that were just very like inconsiderate of my
So
time
what? They kept bailing on
or
you?
couldn't communicate. No, the worst part is it's like so many people would be like, "Miss you, want to hang out?" And then they set up plans would be like, "Let's hang out here this Friday, this Saturday, whatever." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." And then I'm like the day of like, are we still hanging out?
And
And they're like, "Oh, I can't. I have to do this." And I'm like,
yeah,
"What the fuck? Why did you go out of your way to ask me to hang out
yeah.
and like just decide to not even communicate and tell me that like you're not gonna hang out with
Like
me?"
they not only did they like not hang out with you, but they didn't even try to like make an excuse or
Yeah, or
anything.
like be mindful of just my time. That it's like I made fucking time here, and I don't like to make time.
That's true.
So I think it's important for people to learn how to just communicate. I would appreciate if someone was like, "Oh, I don't want to hang out anymore." Like if they told me
Like
like
being honest.
3 days before, that way at least I know what to do with my day then, you know? Because then that's like at least that person is being mindful of like my fucking time, and that on its own is respect.
Yeah, if they're your friends, you have to respect them and their time. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um.
it's a good point.
Another point is, I mean, feeling excluded
Like with a friend group or something?
with a friend group,
Oh,
right?
okay.
And it typically will happen to the people pleasers
Oh,
that I've
forget about
seen.
them.
And that's why I said that it's important to set boundaries with the people that you're around, because a lot of times if they're taking advantage of you and you're a people pleaser, like they don't give a fuck if you're there or not, again, like I said. So they're going to exclude you unless they want something from you.
That's the worst.
And I think it's fucked up um that people just in general do that as human
Yeah.
beings, like taking advantage of other people.
I feel like that happened more when we were younger, though, right?
Um, I mean, I guess I see it happen to like people I know
Still.
still, and I'm just like,
Damn.
that's really fucked up. I don't know. I guess you just don't have that many bad experiences with friends, or you don't observe other people. But you said like your friend was getting treated like shit.
Yeah, I guess she would be close to like being a people pleaser. Yeah, for sure. She would be like always there for her, and she never wanted to like start trouble or anything. So if it was me,
Yeah,
if I was in that situation, I would have put up boundaries. I would have been like, first of all, when that girl would try to complain to me, I would cut her off at a certain point.
yeah.
I'd be like, hey, like, I got things to do. Like, you're kind of just rambling now.
You're saying the same shit.
Yeah, like, actually, I wouldn't say that, but I'd be like, yeah, yeah. And then I would try to, like, change the subject and stuff because I'm not trying to, like, give in to, like, their shit. And I kind of would, like, distance myself and, like, give myself space from them, basically. Where the other person, people pleaser, wouldn't know how to do that, wouldn't be able to
Yeah,
do that.
that's true.
Um,
Confrontation is really hard.
yeah.
Just communication in general. I've seen just so many people really fuck up with lack of communication.
Yeah, and that actually reminds me of a friendship that recently just like disappeared
Hmm.
basically. So, and you know who I'm talking about, I think. um
I'm lost. Okay.
okay, it's fine. Anyway, so I had a very close friend, and it's funny because once we actually lived closer to each other,
Hmm.
we ended up not making time for each other at all.
Yeah.
We were both doing our own thing, but I did reach out to this person several times and say, hey, like, I feel like we never hang out, like, you don't have any time for me, and like, I'm honestly like, you're my closest friend right now.
Yeah.
And they said like, oh, like, you're putting so much pressure on me, like, I'm busy, like, I don't know what you want me to do. And
Yeah.
then like I felt bad because I was like, well, they have a legit reason, you
Mhm.
know. But I don't know, I still didn't feel like anything was resolved, and I still feel like they could have taken some accountability.
Yeah.
Um,
You make time for your friends, whether you're
yeah,
busy or not.
yeah,
And like, even if you're busy, check up on them, text them. You're not that fucking busy to not text somebody, you know? Whether
yeah,
you can't be in the same space as them, at least,
yeah,
send
for
them that you're
sure.
thinking about them.
Yeah, and I don't think that was really going on, especially because when I needed this friend, I was like in a really bad place,
Mm,
and they were like bare minimum there for me. And then
yeah.
when they were there for me, they expected me to act a certain way, like how used to be, like very happy all the time.
Yeah.
But I wasn't happy, so I couldn't show up that way.
Yeah, because there was already something that kind of, your friendship kind of already took a hit and nothing got
Yeah,
healed or resolved from that. So you're kind of left being like cautious of like,
I couldn't show like what I truly felt because like I felt like they were gonna just like turn it a different way.
yeah,
So
gaslight.
yeah, gaslight me. So and then like it's funny because we wouldn't really talk about what happened, and we would just be like, oh, okay, like, yeah, let's just go work out and
Yeah.
forget about it. But one of my friends who's friends with her too,
Hmm.
she told me that like basically what I'm saying about her, same thing about me.
Oh shit.
She's like, she
Wait, are
never
you talking about me? I'm just kidding.
imagine, I'm trying to tell you something right now. She
Okay.
said that I was stubborn and I never reached out to her.
Yeah.
And like basically we have the same story for each other.
Okay.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know who's
But would you say that that was true?
after a certain point, yes, I did stop communicating with them and I stopped reaching out. And then we would be like, hey, like, let's hang out soon. And then the day would come, neither of us would reach out to each other. Because to be honest, I was just tired of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, at that point, I didn't even care anymore.
But I would say your reaction to her was a reaction that she was allowing you to have as well, though, right? Like, she was paving the way for you to react like that. You weren't just acting out of like that out of nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's true. Like, it had been built up for some time.
It's like someone that like gives you a bunch of weed and like they're smoking with you and like they're like looking at you, they're like, are you fucking high or something?
Exactly.
I'm not high. I can't believe you're high.
Yeah,
what's wrong with you?
Loser. Yeah, that's so true. And that's something like I guess I never really realized because I still kind of felt bad about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, oh, like I can be stubborn. So I was like, yeah, like I should have been there, blah blah blah. But it's like, how am I supposed to be available for you when you're ready? When like you weren't available for me for like so many days and months when I needed you.
Yeah, and then she made you feel weird for bringing it up and being like, you're out of line.
Yeah.
I'm busy. So then that makes you feel like I'm just going to step back and not mention all the issues that I have right now because I'm feeling a certain way now.
Yeah.
And that's like an example of gaslighting, though. I know you want to be accountable as an adult, but just from that like scenario of what you're telling me, I just don't see. Maybe you're both wrong, but like I would say this person needs to communicate a little bit better.
And I kind of saw like because I thought we were gonna be like best friends forever.
Yeah.
But there was a situation where she was having an issue with her one of her parents, and she kept blaming them. And I told her, I'm like, well, have you ever thought like maybe they're going through something, or like have you looked at it from their side?
Yeah.
And she's like, I can't believe you would say that. Like,
oh my god.
She's like, I'm just venting to you. Like, I'm not asking you for answers.
This person sounds like they gaslight a lot, if I'm being honest. Just what you're telling me.
And like it's just funny because like you think like this like I guess I put her on a pedestal because like
Okay.
I thought she was like my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
But when that happened, I was like, oh shit, like this person isn't seeing that like relationships are a two-way thing.
Yeah.
Like she's only seeing it from her side and blaming this other person, but like and then once I even mentioned the thought like hey, maybe like it's not all their fault,
Yeah.
like they completely got super defensive about
Yeah.
it. So I was like that might be what's going on with like even our relationship too.
Yeah. And it sounds like it.
Yeah.
But I was gonna bring this up because I was in a relationship where I started to notice that this person's friends and their family kind of like didn't like me, and I didn't know why.
Oh.
And then later on, like I said with that other friendship, like I started to pay attention and listen, and this person was always the victim of every story.
Mm.
And this person was never accountable for what they might have done. And if I mentioned it, it was like I was hurting their ego, or I was like hurting their feelings for not being on their side.
Mm-hmm.
And no offense like to anybody, but that's just not who I am. I'm not always going to be on your side. If I'm hearing the full truth of the story, I'm going to tell you what I see on the outside, like in my
Yeah.
perspective. I'm not going to
And that's
lie
just how you are.
and feed your ego just to make you feel better. Obviously, if someone's really like sad and down, like I'm not going to fucking, add to the fire, but
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna like if you're asking for my opinion and perspective, I'm definitely gonna tell you the truth and not like
Mm-hmm.
beat around the bush.
Yeah.
Um, but I think that's important to see and pay attention to. Um, is if someone's always the victim in their story,
Yeah.
you really need to pay attention to that pattern.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and if you can't keep them accountable or call them out for their shit, and they get defensive or like hurt,
Mm-hmm.
and then they like try to gaslight you or make it about you being the asshole or the mean person, that's a person to look out for, and you probably shouldn't really be good friends with them.
Yeah. And I think that's something that like even with like relationships, friendships, we'll like ignore the red flags and we're like, oh no, like they're such a good person. But
Yeah.
if someone's whatever gaslighting you, like that's not good for you and your mental health too,
Yeah.
because you're gonna
Don't
start questioning yourself.
don't ever let someone make you feel like you're fucking crazy.
Yeah, dude.
Because if your
Yeah,
friends are
people do
making you
that.
feel like you're crazy
Yeah.
and you're the asshole for calling them out
Yep.
on shit, like those are people you need to reconsider as your friends.
Yeah, and it's you know what? It sucks.
Yeah,
When
it does.
it sucks, dude, because I was like in denial. I was like, I cannot lose this friend.
Let me stop you a little bit right here and I'll let you go to carry on with this. But I just want to say it's always the most toxic people that are usually the real fun friends.
You think so?
Yeah, you're like, oh man, they're so funny though, or like they're such the
Yeah.
life of the party,
Yeah.
or like they really like to do all this shit.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, not every person, but a lot of times those are the people that
Majority
you're
of the
like,
time.
they got a fucking problem.
Well, that's exactly like I was like, this is like I love this friend. Like I didn't want to let go of our friendship, and so yeah, I was in denial, and I was like, no, like they're perfect, like, but no, like they can have these qualities that are, I don't know, like turn against you.
Yeah, and it's not to say like, I mean, maybe you can still have those people in your lives, but maybe you shouldn't have them as close as you think,
Yeah.
or as close as you are having them in your life.
Yeah.
But if you do set boundaries for yourself, I mean, and
It's hard, but yeah, do it.
yeah, you got to respect yourself first. Nobody is looking out for you more than you are looking out for yourself. And, unfortunately, there are some people that will have those friendships where their friends are actually looking out for them more than themselves. But unfortunately, a lot of people actually don't have those friendships, and like a lot of people are not looking out for their friends more than themselves. Everyone's really selfish, so you got to put yourself first.
Moral of the story: People
Yeah.
are selfish as hell.
Hell yeah. But even if you are selfish, I think you can still be a good friend as long as you communicate
Hmm.
well and you're accountable. You
Yeah,
know?
those are the only two things you really need. Don't
You're
be so
and you're
defensive.
considerate. You got to be considerate.
And you gotta have money. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Yeah, but we can end here. Um I think this is a good topic to still bring up with like other people since you're gonna be gone. I don't know when.
Yeah, not for a while.
Oh, shit.
I'm taking my time. Dumb
Uh,
shit. I
was
was
looking
ready.
forward to it. I'm just kidding.
Who are you gonna talk to?
No, I wanted to explore and interview like different people, maybe like business owners, like small business
Oh, okay.
people or like community oriented people.
Yeah.
Um, Even just regular people. I want to kind of get like some insight on just how people are feeling.
Well, yeah, dude, like we can start doing that
I
still.
know, but we have only two mics.
We can get more.
I don't know if the other little mini mics will be compatible with the receiver.
Alright, we gotta do some research.
Yeah, I've been trying to do research, but
Oh,
if
really?
anybody knows cheap like
Yeah.
mics that we can get,
More than two.
yeah, and very like accessible. We're not looking to spend a lot of money. We're also not looking to like have a shitload of equipment in the car because we
Well,
drive.
we're probably not gonna record with third person in the car, right?
I mean, I was thinking we could just do a pickup.
Yeah, we
just
need a van. A podcast
yeah,
van.
we need a podcast van. If anyone wants to donate a podcast van or like
We'd
mics,
appreciate it.
yeah, we'd really appreciate
You
it,
could be on the show.
and we'd be respectful of your time
And
and your
consider
friendship.
it.
Yeah.
We'll tell your bad friends off for you.
Okay, well, that's it. Bye.
Bye.